Greetings, Descendants! FiOth here, and after 8 hours of playing and streaming the game on its launch day, I'm here to give you my thoughts on the situation of the game right now, including performance and of course monetization. So let's get to it, and remember, we'll be covering everything in this game for the foreseeable future, so subscribe and share with your friends. The game was tested on both Steam and the PlayStation 5, and I have to report that although it's a bit on the heavier side, something to be expected because it is a looker 100%. I didn't have any crashes, I played crossplay, didn't have any disconnects, and I used cross save between the two platforms. 5 minutes after I logged out of the PlayStation 5, I logged into Steam and everything was perfectly transferred. No issues whatsoever. I have a guide right here about how you can activate cross save so you can play from all your systems without any issues. Frame rate, well, tolerable on the PlayStation 5. I was playing on the balanced mode with frame generation, which is a very interesting addition. It is AMD tech. It pretty much increases your frame rate, but it's not to the extent where you'll be reaching any triple digits. For the time being, for day one, tolerable. I'm pretty sure they will keep working and optimizing the game. This is a big project for Nexon. They put a lot of money behind this, so you can be sure they won't leave it in a poor state. They need to bring more people in, so they bring more DAO in. The game's overall gameplay structure, that has been the concern of many people before it launched, and I have to report on a number of things. First and foremost, we were talking about the emptiness of the world. Like, if you were not in a mission, the world was just an empty void, nothing was happening. You were just walking around, opening boxes here and there, with the occasional whatever popping up. What they did was add very small patrols of enemies, like ridiculously small patrols. You can just use an ability and you just destroy them, and that is it. The world is still empty. There is nothing to do outside the missions. Once you activate the mission, you transition into this void instance, let's say, and by void I am not referring to the bosses. I mean, it is contained in a vacuum pretty much. This is not an MMO, everything is instance. You activate the mission, everyone has to click on the same node to join the mission, and they get progression by participating up to a party of 4. Now, my biggest gripe with the design of this game, and it is so stupid, I can't really wrap my head around why they did it except for forcing people to play for longer periods of time, is the way progression amongst players is shared. Let me elaborate. When someone starts a mission, every person has to click on the mission node to participate. If you were on the phone and forgot to click on that node and you complete the mission with your mate, but you hadn't touched the node beforehand, you haven't done shit. There has been no progression, nothing got registered, you didn't get any substantial experience, and you will be scratching your head thinking, why can't I progress with my friends? Why am I behind them? The simple answer is, you didn't touch the mission node, so the game never understood that you were doing this mission with these people. They probably did this because they didn't want anyone to be carrying anyone else through the story. And I don't understand what the gripe against this is. This is an online game, a live service game. What they register on their servers is the bread and butter of the viability of the project. I know that. They have to show to the shareholders that people play the first Descendant. But bro, there is no way people will be able to catch up to people who played from day one, if they play on day 3, if they play a week later, if they work, if they have 5 children. It will be impossible to get in sync. This just divides the player base, and it is dumb AF. It does not make any sense. They will have to implement a way to just get the story into segments so you can play any segment and follow through with your friends, unless it is very specific sequenced events. You cannot have a game like this, a live service game with one string of missions, story related, and expect people to follow through for 20 hours of gameplay. It will not happen. People will be pissed. Moving on, I've heard from some people that on PC, specifically with 20 series cards, there is a DirectX 12 issue. It doesn't recognize that the GPU is capable of DirectX 12, and thus people are pretty much unable to play the game. This is totally technical and it will get fixed, but after so many betas and test runs, especially the very last one, I cannot believe that they didn't get reports of incompatibility when it came to specific hardware. Overall, the competence cadence by which the technical stuff was handled was higher than the competence employed to design the structure of the game. Most of the missions you will be playing are piece easy on normal, especially if you have a party. When you go to endless defense and special ops, it comes from a point where it is laughably easy to progress to one where it is pretty much impossible to progress. The difficulty spike is insane. It doesn't ease you into it. You do 2 waves and you're like, I'm pretty confident I did 2 waves, let's do 4 waves, and the 4th wave you're fighting Goku from Dragon Ball Z and he's kicking your ass. It escalates very, very quickly. So you go from a point of total boredom to a point of inability to complete specific tasks, and it feels really underwhelming to spend 30 minutes into an endless defense mission just to do 9 waves easily and then get steamrolled on the 10th. Don't understand why they balance it like that, but all this can be remedied, of course. As time goes on, the game will keep evolving and it will be getting better and more well-crafted content. Now let's get into the grind, because the grind in this game is ridiculous. As I said, I played for 8 hours yesterday and I wasn't there picking my nose. I had participated in the betas and I know what to expect from this game. I understand how it works. I already made guides for it. You can watch them at the end of this video to ease yourselves into the game. I was not able to craft a single energy activator after all these hours. In case you don't know, the energy activator is the item you need to increase the capacity of a Descendant for modules. And when I say I wasn't able to create an activator, I didn't have access to 90% of the materials required. Put that into context. 8 hours of grinding plus the inability to craft a simple consumable. Now, if you want to buy those, they cost shy of 1200 caliber, which is about 25 euros, and to optimize Descendants you have to put an activator in each one of them. To optimize guns you need to put one in each one of them. So between Ultimate Descendants costing around 100 euros and an activator costing 25 euros, the whales are gonna have a field day with this game. Question is, what about the people who are not whales, have some self-esteem, they wanna actually earn stuff via normal game progression? I think there's gonna be a huge debate about this game. As people get eased in and understand the systems, they will be scratching their heads, wondering if it indeed takes so much time or so much money to get simple items or unlock specific things. It's easier to get an actual character, a Descendant, than to get an upgrade material for the Descendant, because they were thinking the Descendants are pretty much the shinies, people who want to unlock more in order to stay in the game, and because most of them will never understand what the activator does, they will not be as fretted as if they cannot unlock sexy lady in high heels. They know what their demographics gonna be about and they just wanna milk it. I don't know if that's on the developer's part or Nexon's part. Nexon is a pretty shady company. People have a lot of issues with Nexon for a lot of years now. But they really need to ease a bit on the monetization model, because it is extremely aggressive at the moment, and going forward like this is not gonna benefit the game's lifespan at all. Last but not least, I wanna stay on a positive note. The fight you're seeing here playing back to back is a fight against the second boss you fight in the first Descendant. I can't believe they kept this name for the boss in the game. I thought it was a placeholder, it's stupid AF. But the fight itself is excellent, and initially I had my thoughts about the void battles. I was thinking, man, this is lazy, they just put these bosses in this arena and call them intercepts. But in context it makes total sense that they try to stop the Colossi before they breach the barrier of our reality. The fights, man, I have to give it to them, such dynamic environments for the most part. The boss will break your cover and then take advantage of the fact that you are in the open and employ specific attacks in X scenario or Y scenario. You can grapple them, dislodge parts from them. It's overall a very nice system and they put a lot of thought in it. The design of specific parts of this game shine from the first moment. The gun design, how they feel, how they fire, how they sound, The bosses, the overall aesthetic is on point. They kinda escape the uncanny valley of AI generated BS, although everyone looks like a supermodel. Even Seneca, the old guy who gets you into the boss fights, looks like he was the hottest dude on the planet 50 years ago. But monetization is very aggressive, gameplay can get very repetitive, it goes from very easy to extremely unmanageable, and the overworld is empty. Nexon, the overworld is still freaking empty. You need to put more stuff in it, stuff roaming, small shit. We can just pass the time whilst we're talking on the phone. This is a time waster game. Time wasting in it should be as simple and accessible as possible. Thank you for listening to this vid, peeps. I will be covering everything in the first Descendant moving forward. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, click any of these vids if you want more information about the game. Until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!